Okay, so taking a look at how Google share has been performing since the company announced Page's new role. Well, that news came in late January. The stock's down 5.5% since then. That includes recovering to the level it was before Japan's earthquake. So that just puts it into some context. But we just heard Max Niederhofer commenting on Google's challenges. Want to get more insight from the founder of social search engine Quirly.com, because he's with me live in the studio now. Thanks very much for coming in.
Great to be here.
So talk to me about Larry Page's appointment as Google CEO, because there had been concerns that he perhaps didn't have quite enough experience for that kind of job.
Right. I think Page, as a person, one of the founders, has the potential to rejuvenate the company, to re-energize its entrepreneurial potential. I think a lot of people ignore that he's been at the helm of this company since the founding, since '98. He ran it together with Schmidt and Brin in a triumvirate. So he's really, if you will, a bit of a safe pair of hands, right? He is not the polished, seasoned operating executive that I think Wall Street wants to see. But from a perspective of leading tech companies, if you look at the founder-led companies, they have outperformed the sector.
Zuckerberg,
Amazon,
Steve Jobs,
and Amazon and Bezos, absolutely.
So no, the tech industry views this as a favorable appointment. And interestingly, you were making the point that a lot of tech companies that outperform the industry as a whole have their engineers, their founders at the helm. They flourished under their leadership. Why is that?
So I think it's a catalyst for entrepreneurial engineering teams within the company feel like they can talk to the leadership directly, rather than having someone who just views them as a resource, to produce products, and they feel like they are actually in control of the business. So
okay, so the big challenge for Page, taking on Facebook, confronting that company, closing in on what, 1 billion users now?
Right. I think there are subsets of Google that are absolutely terrified of what Facebook has the potential
to do. More than
do.
Microsoft or Bing and Apple.
Absolutely. Microsoft has thrown billions of dollars at the search problem, which is a fiendishly difficult engineering problem. But Facebook has the potential to disrupt Google's advertising business in a very different way, and something that Google hasn't envisioned. So, Facebook collects a lot of data about people, about what they like, about who they talk to, about what they buy. And so from a search, from a display advertising perspective, Facebook is building a significant challenger to Google. That said, search and kind of sharing and discovery are very different problems. So you could make an argument that actually these companies could coexist happily for the next couple of years. But unlike Microsoft that ignored the web and that ignored the challenge of Google, Google's taking Facebook very, very seriously.
They are, and they have a social strategy in place, don't they? They've got the +1 new social service, but that is, not to confuse it with what Facebook does. This is more of a social, personalized search, isn't it?
Well, I think that's what they're starting to do. So the Facebook like buttons, right, which are everywhere, all over the web. Facebook is putting likes, so +1s, next to the search results, but also next to ads. So putting them next to ads will actually, allow people to do +1 when they are on a completely different site, so that people know, Google will know if people visited the site, they thought the ad was relevant. So it'll improve both targeting of ads as well as know where people are going, right? So you'll have a database of what sites people have visited.
So the commercial value of that, significant boost to ad revenue?
Right. I think you'll increase conversion of the ads, and also ads will have a social perspective in the sense that if a friend of mine clicks +1 and Google knows that we're related, that ad will likely get shown to friends of mine because there's because likely we'll have different.
So this Google +1 is very much the beginning.
Right.
How difficult is it going to be for Google to really take on Facebook in this area? Because most people, they want their groups of friends, everything on one network. Right now, that dominant network is Facebook. How on earth do you get them to change?
Right. No, I think network effects are a huge problem for Google. And if you look at kind of the products they've launched internally, Wave, Buzz, and then there was a social network called Orkut like a long time ago. They've all been failures. So I don't discount the challenge of this. I think Google does have a big challenge ahead of them.
Max Niederhofer, thank you so much for coming in. Great to talk to you.